Welcome back to PBR Acres. This is Jim, and on this episode, we're going to go through our second year of deer camp. So, the first thing you're going to notice to the cabin is I added a porch. I finished that up. We got rid of that janky system where we were using a aluminum extension ladder going up. It was a lot better. A lot quieter using stairs. So you'll see that I had built some stairs also. Don't mind the railing; they were pretty temporary. I'm gonna at some point try to put a decent set of railings on there. And next to the steps, you're gonna also notice a big piece of stainless pipe sitting there. So what that is it's going to double as a flagpole, but it's also a buck pole, so we could hang, our venison from there if need be. It's quite high, so we could get it up off the air, off the ground, up in the air to where we don't have to worry about anything getting at the deer. We definitely have a lot of coyotes in the area, and there's even some wolves. Definitely have bear running around out there, so we're just going to get them up and off the ground far enough where nothing's going to mess with the deer, so that's why it's so high. It's bolted to the side of the cabin. It's also fastened to the slab, the extra slab that I had poured, so it's not going to come down anytime soon. So along with that, we put a flag on there. We like to have the flag up when we're there, take it down when we leave. And we're probably going to add a few flags to that, but for time being, it works out pretty well. So as we look at the inside of the cabin, this is where a lot of the changes happen to. So you're going to notice that I put insulation in the walls this time. So I put all R13 insulation and then put the vapor barrier back up and over it. Now last year, all we had was just the plastic vapor barrier. It worked somewhat, but not great. The underneath of the cabin at this point, I went through and I put the bubble foil type insulation and stapled it up into the joist cavities to use. And, I guess it worked somewhat. In 2024, we ended up upgrading from that. And I put 2-inch foam underneath there, but for this year, just the bubble foam foil. The other thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to clear up some space and started getting the camp laid out with the walls and whatnot. So you're going to notice that I have some bunk beds in. I put the drywall up beforehand before putting the bunks in, so it was a little bit more finished that way. That's nice. Next to the bunks is just a room. Eventually I would like to get a camper toilet put into there, but that's for the future. One of the nicest things we did for ourselves this year was we got a different heating source. So I bought off of Marketplace, I found a Heat and Glow propane stove. So basically you turn the thing on, you set it to whatever you want it, and we have heat all night. For this deer camp and this year, we did not have any issues with getting cold. The stove worked flawlessly, and I didn't have to wake up every 2.5 hours to a 25-degree cabin trying to restart a fire in the old wood stove. So that worked out great. That was one of the nice additions that we had this year. The exterior, it wasn't 100% complete on the exterior. You're going to kind of see that, there's a little bit of softened fascia on there, but I did not go up the gable ends where that opening was. I ended up just putting, I got some screen. I stapled screen up there, just trying to make sure that birds and such wouldn't get up in there and get into, that space. So we had all that up there, and, it was at the point where we figured that it would be, good enough to start with. In order to get that up, ordering and renting scaffold and running out there and trying to do all this work yourself, it was a pain. And I kind of ran out of time again. So I did not get my total soffit and fascia system in, so I had to use a little bit of redneck ingenuity, I guess. So up went the screen. So now I'm going to take you into a little video. This video shows, coming up the stairs, you're going to see the flagpole. It's the stairs. I ended up putting some roofing material down for grip on the stairs. I ended up putting some camouflage, just whatever, around it, stapled it up. Have some hooks on the outside for the blaze orange to stay aired out. You're going to notice there's some insulation on the walls. I did not get vapor barrier on everything, but on some of it I could. We're into some nice bunk beds at this point. Again, we have the TV in there. We watch movies at night. I have a few benches that we're using, for this video. I had those in. There's the wood stove that keeps us warm, and a lot of the same furniture that you're going to see from the years prior and afterwards. So the camp, at this point in 2023, it's come a long way. We have insulation in there. We have, a good source of heat. It's a lot easier to access, a lot quieter. And, with that, we felt pretty good about it. We're going into a season where we shouldn't fail as much as we did the year before. And those failures were, more so just with the heating system and being cold. So now it's time for deer camp. I'm going to go through a video here real quick. On this one, we're in there. And there's a couple more upgrades in there, but you can see, we're in there. It's kind of a mess in there, but the bunk beds are set. I ended up putting up kind of a makeshift kitchen, and I ended up with a LP stove also. So that was nice for cooking. There's our heat source, chugging along, doing great. And here we go. We are at deer camp and loving it. So we get there, and that first night we're laying in bed and everything's great. I'm smiling ear to ear. Deer hunting starts tomorrow. Can't wait. It's just like the first time again. I can't wait for deer. The deer opener. This is Friday night, so Saturday morning it would open up. So we're pretty stoked about it. And then I could hear something crawling. It's up in the roof, and you could hear something. And I have, the foam, starter foam air chutes or whatever to keep your roof cool before the insulation goes up. You could hear something, maybe multiple things running up and down in there, and it drove me nuts. So that next day, when I I ended up running into town, I got some traps and some poison and whatnot. And what happened is, once we added those stairs, the mice could now crawl up there. And they were coming in. I have to believe they came in through the soffit. That's the only place that we found them. And we took care of that problem. And, it wasn't an issue the rest of the time. So we got them. Opening day, it was nice out. No deer were taken, but there was plenty of deer running around. We had plenty of opportunities. We were kind of waiting to see. The problem with having the cameras out there is you end up seeing a lot of these bigger bucks, and it's just like opening up Christmas presents before Christmas Day. You think you're gonna grab your gun, you're gonna go sit out there, and this 12 pointer is gonna come walking by just like he has at other points, in front of the camera, and it doesn't happen. But we did see plenty of deer, on the opening weekend. So, in this pic, you're going to see that, I talked a little bit about it in the video. I purchased an LP stove used off of Marketplace, got a hell of a deal. Ended up being some friends of mine that had it posted out of their camper, and picked that up, had that. It was great. I tell you, it's having a stove out there. It was fun when I had the wood stove out there cooking on the wood stove, that's definitely fun. That it always is. But just to turn a knob and have the heat and you're cooking, it was really nice, and then to have an oven on top of it, we ended up, using that to cook our pasties. It was great. So I always try to eat well up at deer camp, but back to hunting. So we hunted hard opening weekend without any luck. We hunted hard. We were out there Thanksgiving morning, still no luck. And then we came back Friday night, and we were just back Friday night late, so we weren't there in time to hit the nightstand, but we were ready to get up Saturday morning and go out and hunt. And at this point, there still wasn't any snow this season, which makes it a little more difficult, but that's fine. We were gonna go out, we were gonna hunt, we were gonna hunt hard. And what happens? Jacob shoots a buck. Sure enough, he shot a buck. I was so happy, proud dad moment, and he was so happy too. And then, at this point, Jacob's getting a little bit bigger. He wants to drag his own deer. I helped him with the field dressing, but the dragging he did. Where the location of, the deer was taken compared to camp, it was decided that, we were just going to load it up, at the road, and then I would drive it back to camp. It was probably, I know it's 35 acres, but, you go pretty well down the whole 40 on the one edge and then all the way back on the 40 on the other edge to get where he was. So, I mean, we were back there a ways, so it saved about half the dragging. And so we loaded up, at the road, took it back to camp, and we finally got to try out the new buck pull. And it worked. It worked great. And I was happy that, the first deer hanging from it was the one that Jacob dropped. So he is a heck of a shot. He's a good hunter, and he tries real hard. So good stuff there. The next day, it's Sunday. It's like let's go out hunting. Let's go see if we can get one more buck. We've had them on camera. Let's go see if there's a nice big one out there. And the nice thing was we woke up to snow. Ended up we didn't take any deer. We didn't see any deer on that Sunday. So we packed her up. So we took the buck home, we butchered it that week later on by ourselves. We took the steaks, the straps and stuff, butchered those into, and wrapped them ourselves. I usually take all the grindings, and I bag those up in the freezer bags. I take those in and I get them made into brats, ring bologna, and meat sticks. And generally, we only look to shoot, one deer a year. I get half a beef yearly, so one deer is plenty, between that and half a beef. So, but the venison was really delicious. So just to, go back, year 2 was a great year, and the cabin was obviously a lot better, than it was the year prior. It was definitely heated. It was a lot nicer staying there, other than a rowdy little mouse that wanted to party up in the rafters. It was flawless. It was great. The floors were just a little bit cold, but they weren't terrible. So moving on, in the 2024 season, the camp even got better. So we'll probably do a camp visit on that in an upcoming episode. But I wanted to thank everybody for viewing this and tuning back in. It's great to be able to throw these videos out and people enjoy them. So thank you for taking your time to watch.